Now let's discuss about levers. First of all, define a lever. A lever is a rigid straight bar which is capable of turning about a fixed axis. It can be any straight bar, you can say a straight bar which is fixed at one point and it is capable of rotating that one point, and we call that fixed point as fulcrum. The force at one end which we apply is effort, and on the other end the force on which we have to do work, that is load. Distance of effort from fulcrum is effort arm, and distance of load from fulcrum is known as load arm. You have to keep these terms in mind because again and again we are going to use these terms further. Now here, if we are applying effort here to overcome this load, here it is anti-clockwise moments are arising and here the clockwise moments are going on. So as per the principle of machine, we can say the anti-clockwise moment should be equal to the clockwise moment, then and only then that lever is said to be balanced. For that, anti-clockwise moment means effort multiplied by effort arm should be equal to the load multiplied by load arm. Because moments, you all know formula for moments as you have done in chapter 1, it is known as force into displacement covered. So that is effort multiplied by this distance, that is effort arm, and it will from clockwise side it is equal to load multiplied by this distance, that is known as load arm. For that, I will modify it. I will keep effort to this side. When it will come to this side, it will be in denominator, and load arm will come to here. This side, it will go in denominator. So that means load upon effort is, we already know that it is known as mechanical advantage. So here, new formula is coming. Mechanical advantage is also equal to effort arm upon load arm. And that is nothing. It is also known as but laws of levers. From here again the certain cases are there. If effort arm and load arm both are equal, then mechanical advantage will be equal to 1 and it is used to change the direction of effort. If effort arm is greater than load arm, then mechanical advantage is greater than 1, then the machine is used as force multiplier. If effort arm is less than load arm, then mechanical advantage is less than 1, then the machine is act as a speed gainer. You have to remember these things. Now let's discuss the kinds of lever. There are 3 kinds of lever: class 1, class 2 and class 3 lever. First of all, class 1 lever. You have to remember the arrangements of effort, load and fulcrum in mind for the different classes. First of all, class 1 lever. In class 1 lever, fulcrum is in the between of effort and load. It's not needed that always it is at midpoint, but it is in between the effort and load always. So from here we can say the distance from effort to fulcrum is effort arm. The distance from load to fulcrum is load arm. We can say from this particular class of lever that mechanical advantage of this class of lever can have any value. It can be equal to 1, it can be greater than 1, it can be less than 1. This kind of question is asked in the exam. Name the class of lever which can have any value for mechanical advantage. That is, it can have value equal to 1. Equal to 1 is then when the fulcrum is exactly at the middle of the effort and load. Then we can say effort mechanical advantage is equal to 1. When it will be more than 1, that means effort arm is more than load arm. Here effort, the fulcrum is somewhere here, we can say then effort arm will be longer and load arm will be shorter. And in that case mechanical advantage will be greater than 1. Next is effort arm is less than the load arm. That means fulcrum is shifted towards here, then effort arm will be less and load arm will be more. In that case, the mechanical advantage is less than 1. When the mechanical advantage is equal to 1, again the class 1 lever is act to change the direction of the effort. When mechanical advantage is more than 1, it is used as a force multiplier. When mechanical advantage is less than 1, it is used as speed gainer. One more important question asked in the exam, as shears and scissors both belong to same class of lever, then why one will behave as a force multiplier and other act as a speed gainer? So the answer is that Shears is that scissor which is having longer handles and short blades. This is that scissor which is used to cut the metal sheets. And that scissor is having long handles but short blades. And in that, if the handles are long, that means effort arm is more than the load arm. So in that case, it acts as a force multiplier. And same as scissors, it is used to cut the clothes. It is having long blades but short handles. That means effort arm is less than load arm. So here it acts as a speed gainer. In the same way, you can give explanation for both. Now comes class 2 lever. In class 2 lever, fulcrum is at one end and effort is at other end, and load is in between the fulcrum and effort. So here effort arm is always more than load arm. Remember children, when effort arm is always more than load arm, that means mechanical advantage is always more than 1. I am taking one example, bottle opener. In that, load arm is less than effort arm. Let us see the example from the book. Here, bottle opener. This point is fulcrum. This is load which is acting downward, and here we are applying effort. So here effort arm is more than the load arm. So that means it always acts as a force multiplier. Next example, you can say nutcracker. In nutcracker also effort arm is more and load arm is less. That means here again mechanical advantage is more than 1. So it acts as a force multiplier. Similarly, other examples you can see. Now let's take class 3 lever. Class 3 lever, in which fulcrum is at one end and load is at other end, and effort is in between fulcrum and load. So therefore we can say load arm is always more than effort arm. If we either shift effort here and there, but load arm will always be more than effort arm. Therefore mechanical advantage is always less than 1. Let us take one example. Here sugar tongs. Sugar tongs is having effort arm less than load arm. So that means it acts as a speed gainer. Let us see the example in the book. See the sugar tongs. This is load, sugar cube. Here we are applying effort, and this is fulcrum. So here load arm, that means distance of load to fulcrum, is more than the effort arm. This is effort arm. So that means in sugar tongs, load arm is always more than effort arm. So it acts as a speed gainer. Similarly, the other examples are also given in the book. You can see from here, in every example, it acts as a speed gainer. So this is how we can say the 3 class of levers are having 3 different arrangements, and their different examples are given. Now let us consider the class of lever found in human body. This is another important part. First of all, first class lever, action of nodding of head. See the structure. This act as a load, our chin. This act as our neck point, act as fulcrum, and back portion of the head is effort. So here a fulcrum is in between the load and effort. So nodding of head is acting as class 1 lever. Second, class 2 lever in raising the weight of the body on toes. Now let's see the example figure from the book. Here fulcrum act on the toe. Load is the heel which is acting downward, and effort we are applied with the help of muscles in the upward direction. So here fulcrum is at one end and effort is at other end, and here load is in between. So therefore it acts as a class 2 lever. Now class 3 lever in raising the load by forearm. So here if we can say on hand we keep one thing. This is load which is acting downward. Our elbow acts as a elbow joint. It acts as a fulcrum, and effort we are applying with the help of muscle in the upward direction. So here fulcrum is in between. It is at one end, and load is at the other end, and effort is in between these two. So we can say class 3 lever is acting when we raise a load kept on the palm.